Today was Friday. It was a good day. Another good day. Um, I worked out, went to work, worked, got done with work, uh, and then I came back here, did a little bit of editing, and I wanted to see the second Guardians Galaxy, Volume 2. And it wasn't a matter of like, if I was going to see it. I was just like, I need to see this movie, right? I should have seen it last night. I didn't. So I was like, when am I going to see it? And I looked up the show times, and I was planning on seeing it at 10:30, right, at this one theater with super cushy seats, and so that was my plan for pretty much the entire day until when I got back. I from work. I was like the idea had kind of hit me. I was like, what if I don't really want to go anywhere tomorrow, and I don't want to run out of food over the weekend or anything. Should I run to Walmart after the movie? And I was like, well, dang, if the movie's at 10:30, that was my original time of wanting to see it. You know, there's no way I'm gonna have time to go to Walmart afterwards because the Walmart in Burbank, the one that I go to, closes at midnight. And if the movie starts at 10:30, no way I'm gonna be able to. So I was like, well, dang, what if I should go to an earlier showing? If it all works out. And so after work I came back here. I had some stuff to do. I was figuring out how to post my acting demo on Actors Access and stuff like that because it's kind of been giving me trouble. Anyway, I figured that out, and I got some editing done and stuff like that, and I looked up times, other times earlier than 10:30, and I saw that there was uh, a theater that was showing it at 9:15, and it was one of the three theaters in Burbank that are like right next to each other. So it worked out, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see it at this theater at this time instead, uh, because the 10:30 one was at this like kind of a smaller theater, kind of a bit up the street from the other one. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go this one instead. So I went, and I got my ticket. And these days, at least in LA, I don't know about everywhere else in America, but you have to pre-order your seats. You can't just walk in anymore. You have to pick out your seat, and it'll be reserved for you. So I'm looking at the screen for with all the available seats, and there's not too many. There's some choices up by the front of the screen, but I mean, there's more choices up there than anywhere else. But there was one seat that was available in like the middle section, right? And it was a pretty good seat, and I was like, you know what? Fine, I'm just going to pick this one, and it's a good seat. I'll have a good view. I'll just be sitting next to people. That's like ideally I would like to be sitting by myself. Just enjoying it. With like a a bubble of emptiness around me. But I'll deal with it if I have to. So I got the seat, I got the ticket, and I went in there, and I used the restroom beforehand. And I go in there, and I see a buddy of mine, and I'm like, dude, how's it going? Good to see you. And I'm like, what are you seeing? And he says, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I was like, no way, man. I was like, did you already see it? Or are you about to see it? And then he was like, yeah, I'm about to see it. And he's like, are you seeing it with like the crew? Like, are you here with everybody? I'm like, no, I just came by myself. And so then I go into the theater, and it turns out like the whole crew uh, was seeing the movie. And it was insane. Get this, right? I go into my seat, and I see down the same row that I am. I see my buddy that I ran into earlier. I see him sitting there. I'm like, man, what are the odds of this? And then more of my friends start to come in and fill up the seats. And I'm like, no way, this is crazy. Turns out they fill up pretty much the entire row. And I'm sitting next to one of my friends. I was sitting next to one of my friends in this theater. So, like, I just randomly, and it was all it was all an organized thing on their part. Like, they all came, like, as, you know, an organized party. Like, one of my friends bought like 12 tickets that were all right next to each other and stuff like that. And I just, by pure happenstance, happened to pick the same theater, the same time, the same movie, and I picked the same row at the end of where everybody was sitting. It was unreal. Like, it was super cool. But I was just like, man, of all the people to be sitting next to, I get to sit next to some of my friends. But it was super cool. Uh, but yeah, the movie was just, it was super fantastic. It was awesome. It was just, oh my goodness, Marvel just knows what they're doing. I just can't believe I'm very familiar with like the comic verse, the Marvel universe. I'm very familiar with like the characters and what happens when, generally speaking, I'm pretty well learned in that area, and so like I can't believe they tackled the characters that they did, and some of the people that they introduced in the movie is just, it's unreal, and they did it in a non cheesy way, you know. So I was super pleased. It was more than I was expecting it to be. So I was very well surprised. Well surprised. I was well pleased. I was happy with it. So yeah, but yeah, I just want to tell you guys that crazy story of how I just happened to sit next to my friends. I don't know. I hope it was as entertaining to listen to as it was to experience it. As it was something like that. It's kind of late right now, so and I'm kind of tired, so I'm gonna call it there. No real big plans for the weekend. I'm just gonna work out tomorrow and just lay low the rest of the day, the rest of the weekend actually, and yeah, it'll be good. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow.